Hello and welcome to the Thousand Tales podcast. I'm your host, Connor Logan, and this podcast focuses on the Ventura County Poetry Project. And I help to host the Newbury Park Library branch version of it, which is always the second Wednesday of every month. So come on out for that. See some live poetry. Also, you can sign up through the Thousand Oaks Library system to join it via Zoom if you'd prefer not to be in person. Today, we have a nice special podcast. This one features Elaine Alcon, and we're going to get right into it. So sit back, enjoy. So let's all welcome Elaine Alcon, who was born in Minnesota between town and country, and I have a question about that. But she loves the coast best. Her writing appears in various little magazines, and recently she was thrilled to learn that one of her poems was nominated for a Pushcart Prize. I looked that up today, and congratulations, what an honor. She credits the vibrant poetry community of Ventura County, nurtured so steadfastly by Mr. Phil Taggart and Marcia De La O, for her renewed commitment to poetry, and to Ellen for introducing her to this community. So what a wonderful few notes that you sent over. That's so nice to hear. Between town and country makes me think of my upbringing in Pennsylvania, but what does between town and country, or town and county, between town and county mean for you?
You're asking me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I grew up between the rural area of Ventura County and Minneapolis. But I lived in town, and I spent a lot of time in both places, in Minneapolis and in the country.
Gotcha. So rural enough to be rural, but within shouting distance of a city.
Yes.
There you go. Well, Elaine, I pass it over to you. Please take us away.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming. Can you all hear me?
I can't see you.
Okay. But you can
There
hear
she
me okay?
Yes.
Before I begin, I want to also thank Rod and the library, the Thousand Oaks Library, and all the venues that encourage poets. I think it's really important that we have these regional venues to help stimulate creativity and the cultural richness of our environment. So a shout out to you all, Loose Lips and Marcia and Phil and Jeans and Ron and Ken Jones and Connor. So this first poem is one that I think I read for the first time at Thousand Oaks Foster Library. And after I read it, I tripped over the cords of the camera. I was so embarrassed. And I left as soon as I could. But Phil ran after me, and he wanted a copy of the poem for Askew, so that was the beginning for me. And it's called Ghost Bite Ink. Here is an old map in delicate colors of holy spots in Oxnard. These are the stations of the cross. For a ghost bite, go north on Ventura Road, or south on Rose, just past the high school and Strawberry Meadows. Here, slathered in white paint, a papier-mâché bike laden with plastic daisies, roses, and tissue paper marigolds whose scent will never lead home wandering spirits on Day of the Dead, leans into a fence and a no parking sign, frozen petals punctuated an ellipsis. For death by locomotive, follow Oxnard Boulevard to the sun-kissed factory of Ventura, and imagine a small white cross, long forgotten for Arturo's brother, taking a shortcut in front of Amtrak. The photo finish capturing Arturo's stricken face. Going north along the same stretch to the shrine of the palm tree, fetid with balloons and teddy bears, bleached by the sun and studded with guano. Here, a police chase hurtled a bronc with its little birthday girl into a tree a block away. The tree sustained no injuries. Other spots graze crossroads where spirits linger near crosses and withered bouquets. These are old deaths also, as sanctified by their dusty colors on memory's fraying map. At Rice and Channel Islands, a girl's nude body was thrown into a ditch beside the strawberry field, whose pungent marigold borders stave off insects, but not murder. When it is absent, I miss the bouquet her sister leaves beside the plain little cross at this intersection, where cars stream by and half-naked cross-country runners take no notice. It has been a long time since roses garnished this corner, and longer still since blood dried and mingled with dirt. The wind has blown over the fields. For additional wonders, simply follow the crosses on the map. You can't miss them. Thank you.
Well, really good.
This next poem is about Harry Clark. This is Harry Clark from, I don't know if you can see it very well, it's one of his stained glass windows. He was Ireland's greatest stained glass artist, and I discovered him when I went to the Hugh Lane Gallery in Dublin, and there were these wonderful windows typifying scenes from Keats's Ode to St. Agnes. So, letter to Harry Clark. Thank you for that dream, Harry.
Yeah.
I needed your presence, and there you were in my slumber, after a long flight from Dublin, telling me that green shoes are necessary for life. I would have your emerald slippers and pearly stockings, snowy starched collars, jeweled headdresses, and all the colors of creation that shimmer in your panels, opal, rose, and vermilion, lit with fire and starlight. I could vanish into them, an adoration in umber and taupe. You choose the color. Turn me into a mushroom, glistening in the borders of your windows, whose metal acids and dust killed you, or into the thick amethyst feathers of an angel wing, or a cobalt flower glowing with watery light, so that I might languish there forever, like a drunken bee, pollinating as you do, petal by petal, all the palettes of paradise.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This poem is for one of my students, Tulsi, who died in 2002. I was named for tea, he said, at 16, and you laughed. A lark's fluting, the wind's susurration in the banana tree belying your tears in my classroom. You said a man was bothering you, and then you denied it. And your best friend denied it too. No one is bothering Tulsi, she said. Trust me. Still, you lingered after class, head bowed in sorrow, before skittering away from enormity. The man, your brother, father, uncle, someone else behind that implacable door you feared to open. I waited for a thread to unravel your misery, to see its warp and weft, or something to give authorities. Instead, you stood up, threw off your toxic mantle, and chirped as you went out the door for the last time. Have a nice weekend, miss. My mind froze with foreboding. Sunday morning, the phone rang. You, your brother, your mother, and your grandmother were murdered, and your house torched while your best friend waited on the computer after you wrote. Just a minute, someone's at the door. And this is another poem for one of my students. Her name was Samar. Samar of Homs, Syria. As I sit down to dinner tonight, I wonder if you have enough food to eat, or if you languish in a dusty, crowded camp, a tent city without amenities, people sick and dying, hopeless. I wonder if you even still exist, you, an amulet of flowers. My dear girl, when you left my classroom, you were thrown back into the whiplash of war and diasporas. Where are you now? Where are your sister, mother, family? In the San Fernando Valley, you and your sister white peaches with only a hint of makeup on your creamy skin, no hijabs to hide your thick, tawny hair. We're just another pair of valley girls in sweaters and jeans. I said I love the word Damascus, redolent of Paul, blinded on that road, of T.E. Lawrence and Gertrude Bell inserting themselves into colonial history. I love to say Damascus, thrilling me with vibration like the word sapphire, transport of blue shores, blue forests. And you and your mother said you would be visiting home soon and invited me along. Such a cozy word, Holmes, so safe and charming. You said we could take a side trip to Damascus. I should have gone with you while it was feasible. Who knew your ripeness would soon end in early marriage to a man requiring you to shroud? I was astounded, but should not have been, had I known more of your family and why you left Syria and why you returned, disappearing into the storm Hassan unleashed on your people. The only records I have of you now are Marie Colvin's searing dispatches from the front and the photos of homes bombed to a grid of rubble where she herself died. Amulet of murder and flowers, sweet winds and solstice fruit, oranges, mangoes, quinces and figs, over 500,000 dead, and 3.8 million refugees. Where are you now, dear girl? Where is your dust? Thank you. So I went to Morocco several times to talk to Paul Bowles, who was one of my favorite writers, and I wanted information, among other things, about a story he wrote, which is set in Mexico. And he told me it was in Tepoztlan, in this valley, a circular valley that was flat. So I went there to see the valley and the little pyramid that's there. So this poem is Once in Tepoztlan for Paul Bowles. Excuse me. Once in Tepoztlan, I slept in a blue house that was wrapped in sadness.